The reason you are not who you want to be is because of who you are today. And in today's video, I want to teach you exactly how you can become the person that is required for you to become successful. Now, my name is leofery, and I've helped hundreds of people become successful in business. And the number one thing that has gotten there is the personal development, right? And by doing so, I won an award 2 times for being one of the best coaches on the platform School, as well as helped hundreds of people get great results, right? So, the thing you have to understand is to become successful, it doesn't take a lot of work. It takes a lot of personal development, right? And so I want to speak to you today about how you can make the most amount of personal development in the easiest way, right? And so we have to understand how the human brain works. And if you've been following me for a while, if you haven't, make sure to give us a follow. You should know that I don't like to look at the tactics, right? The tactics is what is today, right? I like to look at the systems behind it, the strategies, the way we do things, and more importantly, why we do things. And so we have to first look at this, right? Now, the reason you, for example, go to the gym is because you hold the belief that going to the gym is a healthy habit. And so by result of the belief, you go to the gym, and by going to the gym, you get stronger and you get fitter, right? So you always have to understand that an action always comes from a belief. For example, if you believe that there are sharks in the ocean, you're not gonna go into the water, and so you're not gonna swim. But what if that belief isn't true? Let's put it more to business, right? A lot of the beliefs that we hold are self-limiting beliefs. And that's why I said in the beginning of this video, the reason why you're not who you want to be is because of who you are today. What it means is that we are holding back ourselves because of the belief we hold. Now, there's something I want to explain. All right, Leo, what beliefs do I even hold? Well, I'll tell you what beliefs you have. You have 2 sorts of beliefs, right? One that come from you, right? So these are really the one that you have basically trained yourself to believe, right? And then there is the one that where basically ingrained into you. I don't even know if that's a word, but that were given to you by your family, right? So you could call this as well external beliefs. To give you an example, the way you treat money, especially at a young age, anything basically at a young age, is just a collection of the beliefs you hold, which have been formed by either your experiences or by the experiences of others, which they have given to you, and that's how basically you got your knowledge, right? So let me just put an external, I think it explains it better. And by the way, this applies to doesn't matter if you make 10 grand a month, 100 grand a month, or if you make zero. Because the thing you have to understand is that we all operate the same way. Like psychology is the same for everyone, as same as laws of human nature. They don't change. Now the thing you probably think is like, well, depending on how ignorant you are, you're gonna guess different on what percentage comes from what. Right? And I will tell you, 10% or less is actually beliefs you have formed yourself. And what I mean by you have formed yourself is where you have chosen to educate yourself about a certain subject. And now when it comes to reality, right? For example, by reading a book, whose experience is that? It's an external as well, right? So you have to understand that you are a collection of your experiences, right? Because your beliefs are formed, right? So let's put this dot in this directions. Your beliefs are formed by the experiences you have, right? And they are formed through basically external knowledge, right? External things, but the way you live through a situation. To give you an example, you can live through like a car crash, and have completely different experiences. Completely. Right? And you see that by when you then have two people that basically went through the same experience and got completely different results. Right? And the reason is because we build up something you gotta understand is it's very, very rare that we do something that we hold absolutely no experience in. Because that puts us at such an uncomfortable positioning, right? For example, as if what I've never done before. I would jump from a plane. Never done it before. But let's say I've never watched a movie about it. I don't even know what it is. I couldn't describe it to be fair because I didn't know what it was. And I did that experience. Then that experience would be mostly completely for myself, right? This is so rare. Me knowing what jumping from a plane is, having seen it from films, already gives me experience, even though it's not my experience, already gives me experience which form my beliefs. And from my beliefs I have, and that's a cycle that's crazy. From the beliefs I have, it will influence my experiences, which will also either strengthen my belief or change my beliefs, right? And so, here's what's important. Your experiences mostly come from 90% external things. 90%, and I honestly think 99%. And the reason why is because you're a collection of your environment. You pick up the things in your life. So depending on what you have been doing in your life for the last 20, 30, 40 years, you're literally a collection of those experiences, right? And the experiences, basically, the younger you had them, the more marking they were, because that was everything that was required for survival, which was to learn really, really quickly. That's why kids learn that fast. It's because it's not because we want to, it's because it's a human brain thing for survival. Because we have to learn really quickly what is a dangerous animal and what not. If not, we're going to get killed. You already know that because you've been on the planet longer, to give you an example. So, why is this so crucial for business? If we agree to that because of the beliefs we hold, we take certain actions, and by taking the certain actions, we get certain results. Fair? Alright, if we put it into business terms again, a belief could be I don't think I deserve to make 20k per month or 50k per month. What will the actions of that be? Or I don't believe I'm a confident guy. Or I believe I'm a shy guy. If you believe you're shy, what will you do? Will you go on a stage and start singing? Of course not, because it would contradict your own beliefs. And so, in result, because you didn't do it, it's gonna reinforce the beliefs you have. So everything is a cycle. You either reinforce the beliefs you have, or you destroy the beliefs you have. And so you have to be very careful about this. Changing the wrong beliefs is self-destructive. Changing the beliefs that are harming you is progressive. To give you an example, like I was saying, you can either destroy them or you can either make them grow. The strength in the belief. If you never hold to your word, how can you tell yourself, I'm a man of my word, and then you take an action which is not congruent with that belief because you basically got lazy and you didn't go to the gym even though you said you wanted to go to the gym or you said you wanted to do outreach or call calls or business, like to do work. You didn't do that work. What was the result? Well, not the result you wanted, So now you're destroying the belief, which was maybe a good one, which was, hey, I hold to my word. Now, destroying such a belief is very harmful. And that's how you basically get into a depression. Didn't know that I could explain depression that quickly, but it's by believing certain things, and that's how depression is formed, right? For example, it all starts with belief. And I have a family case example I can give, without naming names, of course, which was a friend of a family member. He wasn't happy with basically his job. He got fired like 3 times. And then his wife got a very, very good job. A very good job, very paid job. And he felt inferior to his wife. And because he feared from the belief that she would leave him, he started to believe it, that he was indeed a piece of shit. And that she should not love him, even though she absolutely did. And so because he believed that, in the beginning he wasn't strong. He didn't, yeah, sometimes he felt inferior, but not every day. But because he started to believe it, he started to take action that way. For example, he started to just drink beer and sit on the sofa all day and watch TV, even though he never did that before. He just started to spend all his time doing so. He started complaining about his wife, that she didn't love him, right? And she was only staying because of the kids. And what was the result of it? Of course, because of his miserable actions, she definitely decreased the amount of which she loved him. And so what did that do? It validated the fact of what he was thinking. So it strengthened the belief that, hey, you don't love me. So what does it do again? Even more. And then we look for proof, external proof, as to why what we believe is correct. All right? So, and let's speak about how to change your beliefs. There's 2 steps. Step number 1 is manifest it. Step number 2 is get proof for it. And that's what I'm meaning by the result. The result is a form of proof, right? Is a form of proof about whether you believe is correct or not. And depending on that proof you get, it's either going to strengthen a belief or it's going to weaken it. So, how do you change a belief? Or more importantly, why do you need to change a belief? If you think you are a shy person, are you ever going to go on stage and speak in front of an audience of 10,000 people and stutter? No. But if you're a confident person, you're going to go and start on stage. You're probably going to stutter as much as the shy guy, but you're still going to do it because you believe you're confident. And so by result, you're going to get a lot of applause at the end, which is going to make you feel great because it's going to tell you, hey, you are actually great at speaking. You're going to get the result you want, which is going to give you, guess what? Proof that the belief you hold about yourself, which is that you're confident, is correct. Now, let's take it to business terms again. Believing that you can make 100K a month. If you don't believe it, you're not going to take the actions forward. If you don't believe that you're hardworking, if you don't believe you're disciplined, if you don't believe you deserve to make money, if you believe, if you fear failure, or you believe is you're going to disappoint yourself anyway, any kind of negative, negative beliefs we hold, and we all do, which come from a childhood, from our environment. We didn't grow up, most of us, we didn't grow up with billionaires as family and friends. Neither did I. I grew up in middle class, and unfortunately, middle class don't hold the belief they're going to make you rich. Because if they had the belief they would make them rich, they would be rich, because they would take the actions that require them to become rich. But if they don't hold those beliefs, they're not going to get rich. Meaning, if you listen to their beliefs, which you have been doing just like I have been, because we grew up in that environment, and we have had that environment all our life, our beliefs are formed the same way. So now the question is, how do you want to become wealthy with the same beliefs, or rich with the same beliefs that middle class or brokies have. It doesn't work. So the first step you have to do is change the beliefs, for example, around money. You have to change the belief. What you believe about money. Money is not a goal for me anymore. It was back then. Back then it was to make 10K a month. Money is not a goal for me anymore. Money is a tool for me. I don't chase money. I chase value, right? And by providing value, for example, to you guys. So you have to change the belief so you can do the required action to get the result you want, which is going to give you the proof that the belief you just changed to is correct. For example, the example was just right now giving you about that money is a tool. By starting to think that way, I'm going to invest my money to get something back in return, which can be more money or time back, which is going to prove that money is indeed a tool and not some magical thing. And so by reinforcing that belief, that's how you form beliefs. So, and I want you to do this. And these are the action steps for you to change the beliefs and answer that question. How can you become the person you have to become to get the success you externally want? Because it first happens internally and then happens externally. Because as you can see here, first is the beliefs, then comes the action, and then comes the outside result. The result never comes before the belief. Never. Right? So, who is the person you are? So, who are you at 10K per month, at 100K per month? Who are you? Not what car do you drive. Values. Do you care about your time? What values do you have? And this list is so damn crucial. And I'm going to show you one I had for a very long time. So, my core beliefs that I hold on to with zero expectations. And I'm sharing this with you. I believe in myself. I'm a gentleman. I never swear. I always smile. Because these are the beliefs that I think I need to have to become successful. If I don't have courage, I'm never going to get what I want. But those are the beliefs I have to adopt, which I have adopted to a great portion of it. And now what I want you to do is I want you to repeat it aloud every single morning. And more importantly, visualize it. For example, when it comes to flirting, very example, you'd fear approaching women. Can you imagine a time where you actually approached a woman? If so, if you did it in the past, you can do it again. And if you visualize you doing it, it's going to reinforce that belief to manifestation. So seeing the result, even though the result isn't real yet. So yes, it's being delusional to a certain degree. But so that you can change the belief, because if you change the belief, you will be able to do the required test, which will get the actual proof. So it's not lying to yourself because you actually did it in the past. But sometimes you have to delude yourself the same way with money, that you can make it. Right? You have to be delusional to think it's possible. If you don't think it's possible, you're never going to do it. Right? So you have to. It's not a question. It's a requirement. So even Sam Ovens, I don't know if you know who Sam Ovens is, founder of School. He has a company making over $100 million annual revenue. Even that guy has his own manifestation board, right? Uh, Vision board. There you go. It's called vision board. Even he had it because this is so crucial, right? And as you can see, this has nothing to do with external things, right? More, this was who he wanted to be, right? I'm great because it doesn't open it, but he wanted to look at alchemy of self. right? Napoleon, all right. Who else? Einstein. These are the values that he wanted to hold on for himself. And so every single morning, he'll have to look at it. And what I want you to do is I want you to repeat it aloud, because you have to influence your subconscious. Your beliefs are not conscious. You're not conscious about your beliefs. They're all subconscious. So I want you to read them aloud every single morning and then visualize it. Meaning, can you imagine it? Everything that you can imagine you can achieve. And you have to hold that belief. And you can believe it because, again, if you just get proof for that this belief is true, you're eventually going to believe it. So do I. So visualizing it means imagine it. If you can picture it, you can picture things that are not real. So you can also picture you having a belief. You can picture yourself being a gentleman. You can picture yourself as 100K per month. If you can become it. And then you just have to do it over a long period of time. This is not a quick fix. But this is what I mean by it takes a lot of personal development and not a lot of hard work to become successful. Because once you become the person capable of making 10K per month, then you will make it. That's how simple it is. It is a side effect. Just like money is a side effect of creating value, becoming the person who can create that value is going to make that money. And so this is key. So just go do it, right? So do something like that for yourself. Write it down on a note paper. These are my core beliefs. They hold on to zero expectation by answering this question: who do I have to be a 10K, 100K a month, right? So I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the next one.